Hola, mi gente. Good afternoon. This is Julio with his daily chats. I'm here outside my house, sitting in the balcony, catching some sun for the first time because the sun came out. And this lady right next to me is a bust of a woman that I dedicated to the house, basically. Her name is Mary because when I was a kid and I used to walk this block coming out of the hood, going over to Harlem to the only bookstore that there was over the bridge on 149th Street, I would always see this woman sitting on this bench or one similar like this one. I had moved it. So my daughter, after many years, realized, wait a minute, Bob, this bus that she had, she said, this could remind me of the woman that used to own that house, Mary, that you talked about so much, who passed away here at the age of 107. And that's the one that planted that tree that I've spoken about so much that we feel is medicinal because we've heard it from so many people. Anyway, this was the house. And I'm saying this because I walked around here when I was a child and I used to see this woman. And then I wound up buying the house 17 years ago, almost 40 years after that period. So that's proof about how long I've been in this neighborhood. I've been in this neighborhood for so long. And now I'm a candidate for Congress. And I just got to say, it's so funny because I got a call from my son's mom, Liz, yesterday. She was called for a survey, and they asked her about candidates running for the Congressional District 15. And she called me. She says, yo, your name was not one of them. They mentioned like only 5 people. There's really more than that running. So she kept on telling me, listen, you don't have all the names. There's more other people running. And I know that I'm not voting for any of those that you mentioned. I'm voting for Julio Pavon. The guy didn't even know who I was, who's doing the poll. So what was so funny was that she was saying this is so crazy because they're doing this poll and your name was not even on it, and neither were the names of other folks. And I said to her, look, the bottom line is that, like everything else, the media or those who do these polls and stuff like that, they only focus on those that have gotten some attention. So the people who have gotten some attention because they've gotten either an endorsement from major unions, or in one case who got the endorsement of DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. If it wasn't for those endorsements, people wouldn't know who those people were either, other than elected officials, of course, because elected officials have the opportunity to basically promote themselves just by doing a press conference on anything, and they'll be covered by the local media. But other than that, if you were not one of those elected officials, but if you do get the endorsement of an organization like DSA, who did support Ocasio-Cortez, and that gives you some publicity. But other than that, people won't know who you were if you didn't get those endorsements. So in our case, when we didn't get any endorsements of any of those organizations, but yet we are the most progressive, we are the most radical, we are the ones that touching the touch on what's really happening in the community, we're not going to get the publicity, nor are we going to get the endorsements of those, because what's the real deal? They fear what we got to say. We were the ones that were coming out, and we had a major rally in front of the courthouse on the whole issue that's taking place right now, that's been in the papers, talking about the criminal justice reform. They want to roll it back. Well, this campaign, this candidate with his volunteers had a rally in front of the courthouse on the coldest day of the year. No one covered it. We covered it. And those people who saw us there knew that we were there. On the issue of the shootout in Puerto Rico, we were in the news because of that. We were in the news because of the murals that we painted here. Yes, we were in the news for that. I was in the news because of the prisons that they wanted to build in our community. Yeah, but the minute I declared candidacy and I started talking about the issues, that you don't get too much publicity for. So you can draw your own conclusions to why and where, but there are obviously some very powerful forces who do not want this candidacy and this campaign that has the most radical issues, that has the most realistic understanding of what's going on in our community and what really needs to change, which is beyond conventional politics. You run conventional politics, the South Bronx will continue to be the poorest urban congressional district for God knows how long. You change that, you make some radical moves, and perhaps we can change that within our lifetime. which is my objective. So that's my report for today in terms of my chat. We might not be getting the publicity in the news, but trust me, the publicity in the streets, we're getting it, and that's where it counts. God bless you guys, and don't forget, you can become our own publicity. Let your friends know about the candidacy of Julio Pavon, who's running for Congress in the poorest urban congressional district, who's been living here longer than any of those individuals have lived in any one particular area, and who probably knows this community, not probably, who knows this community better than anybody, and has this hanging right in front of his house. So let your folks know, because we don't need the press. We make our own press. Because like I said, this revolution is and will be televised.